The problem was never applying for jobs. The problem always was finding these companies. I just didn't knew, like if you just Google civil engineering companies in Michigan area, only 10 or 15 names would come up. And after that, you just wouldn't be able to find it. So I had to become very, very creative in finding these companies. Hi folks, my name is Omkar Jagdare and I'm coming at you from Detroit, Michigan. And today I'm going to talk to you about how I got my first job in USA, and I'm going to share my experience with you and what struggles I had to go through in order for me to find that job. Before we jump into that, I would really appreciate if you can give me a thumbs up to the video. It allows me to reach out to more people just like you. I came to US in 2011 to do my undergrad, to pursue my undergrad in civil engineering. And so I studied in Connecticut, University of New Haven in Connecticut for a couple of years. From there, I transferred to Lawrence Tech University in Michigan, where I studied for 3 more years, and I graduated in 2016. And during this time, I also did an internship, but for the purpose of this video, I will not count internship as my first job, but my real job after graduation from college. That's what I'm going to talk to you about. So how I got that, why I got that, and what struggles I had to go through to get that. So let's jump into that. So understand one thing, folks. For me to get my first job, it was very critical that I did a good internship in USA. So now my number one tip to you is, if you want to make finding a job in USA easier on yourself, make sure you work an internship in your undergrad or in your master's program. So as soon as you complete 1 year in US, 2 semesters, you become eligible to start working outside school for your co-op or your internship program. So check with your school if you're already in US when you will become eligible to do that. Make sure you've already built a network, make sure you already started applying in your first semester itself to get this internship. As a matter of fact, I'll make another video on how to find your internship, but at this point of time, I'm going to talk to you about how I found my first job. So remember this, so in 2015, I found an internship. I worked there for 3 months, but my experience there was in highway safety engineer. I'm sharing this is it was very important that what you do in your internship is most probably what you will be doing in your first job, because your internship will kind of open doors for you for jobs which you have done in your internship. So that was something I had to understand. Imagine this, now I finished my internship in summer of 2015. I go back to school, I have 2 semesters left. I finished my semester in April of 2016. I started applying for jobs. So I think beginning of April I started applying for jobs, and I was planning to graduate in July of 2016. So if you really look at it, April, May, June, July, 4 months I had 4 months to find a full-time job. Now some people may say I started really late, but I don't know, that's what something my thought process was. I knew I was going to start my OPT period in about August time frame, so I wanted to give myself plenty of time so that I can start working. So I'm going to share you my thought process on how to apply for a job in America now and how I did it. Okay, now there are multiple other ways, and there are a lot of other people who talk about this. Now this approach is if you can't find a referral in America. At that point of time, I did have many friends who were working in civil engineering field. I went to a small university, so I did had a lot of professional contacts who were working in the industry. Not only that, Michigan, if you really see, is not Detroit area or Michigan. If you see, there are not a lot of civil engineering companies which actually gave students, like international students, jobs, and not only that, that sponsored their H1Bs. So like the pool I was applying for was really small. So this is what my thought process was at that time. My goal was to find a job. I was like, I need a job because if I have experience, and I just needed a job because I had 90 days. So your OPT starts, and once your OPT starts, you have 90 days for you to find a job. So I knew I had to, no matter what, find a job before my OPT started, because the time was clicking. So I started applying in April every day. So by the time I started applying every day, I used to apply for minimum 10 jobs, folks. That was my goal. I did not care. I would go right, left, center, and I would find companies. I would find companies which I had to apply for 10 jobs locally, folks. I would find 10 local companies where I had to find jobs. Now these were primary civil engineering companies, some of them were really small companies, some of them were really big, and the problem was never applying for jobs. The problem always was finding these companies. I just didn't know. Like if you just Google civil engineering companies in Michigan area, only 10 or 15 names would come up, and after that you just wouldn't be able to find it. So I had to become very, very creative in finding these companies. So what I started doing is I went on LinkedIn and I started looking at people, civil engineers in Michigan area or Detroit area, and I started looking at their profiles and I started looking at which companies they have worked at. So that way I saw, like, let's say Joe Randazzo guy, he worked at 5 different companies in his career. So I would find these companies, I would go to their website and I would send a resume. Now when I used to send a resume, this is the approach I used. Most people, they'll do the bare minimum. Understand folks, with bare minimum attitude, you will never end up far in America. You have to do the most, you have to do more than what you can. And what I used to do is I would apply on their website, then somewhere on their website I would find the HR's resume, the HR's email, and what I would do, I would copy paste that email in, I would copy that email and I would send my resume personally to that email. So that way I was doubling my chance of getting into that person's inbox, because I knew if they didn't see my application, at least they had my resume on hand. And that's the way I approached all these jobs. So guess what? April, May, June, July, 4 months I kept applying, nothing. I maybe went through 1 or 2 interviews. I did an interview in April. I did an interview for a company, in-person interview for a company, and they didn't give me the offer letter. I didn't have enough experience and they also didn't want to sponsor me, so I didn't get that offer letter. So about next 4 months, folks, I didn't get any in-person interviews. You know what, actually I got one more in-person interview. I don't exactly remember where now, but till then I just did not get any in-person interviews. Eventually what happens, you start losing faith, and that's where the power of written goals comes into play. So what I did, I had taken a notepad like this and I had written on that, on August 16th I start my job and I have an offer letter which pays me $50,000 a year in my job, and this job is sponsoring my H-1B visa, and that's what I had written down. And every day I used to look at it, every day I used to write it down again and again and again. So that's what my thought process was. So what I had done is I was mentally preparing myself to receive this offer letter. Now you may believe in the law of attraction or not. If you think that's BS, that's totally fine. I believed in it and it worked for me. Now here's the thing. June, July and August were really tough months because my OPT was coming and it was putting a lot of pressure on me. So what I did, I doubled down on the number of applications. Now instead of making 10, I started doing 20. What happens is most people, they'll do this for 90 or 100 days and they will lose interest eventually. Instead of, like, you know, it's like they would eventually lose interest and they would stop applying. Understand one thing, folks, that's like, I just don't understand that attitude. That's like, imagine this, your car is running out of fuel and now what you're doing, instead of adding fuel to it, you're taking fuel out. That's like, it just doesn't make sense. If your car is running out of fuel, you add more fuel to it. And that's what I did. When times got tough, I started working double. I started putting in double the effort. So remember one thing, folks, when times get tough in America, make sure you double your action, and that will reward you, and that has always rewarded me in America. So action is the secret. Most people just sit down there and, you know, they don't have a proper approach. You know, you need a proper approach. You need a system in America to follow that. So imagine this. So I'm going to tell you my story. So every day, 10 jobs. I found that there were about 300 companies in Michigan area and I had applied to every single one of them. By the time July came, literally folks, by the time July came, I had applied to all these companies. And now I just didn't have companies to apply to. And like 1 or 2 positions would come up in these companies and I would keep applying to them. So by July, my list was over. I was like, what do I do now? I have applied to every single company in this area. So guess what I did, folks? I had a list of all these companies. I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna start applying to these companies again. And what I did, I went to their website again, I found their emails again, I start sending my resumes again. And guess what? This time I got lucky. In August, by the time, literally, so I started applying, and I went up to another 100, 200 applications. So in all, I would say I applied to maybe 400 to 500 companies, 400 to 500, 300 companies, but I applied to about 400 to 500 jobs. But here's the thing, folks. After completing that 300, the third company I applied, so another new run, another 200 applications. In my third application, I sent in to a company called Hubbell Roth & Clark, which was a local company in Michigan, and I sent them my resume. 1 week later, I get an email from my boss, for my future boss, that, hey, I need you to come in for an interview, and this is what I need. So I went for an interview. I got this interview, I remember sometime in August. I had already started my OPT time frame. I went for an interview, and he really liked my personality. It was like a construction observer interview, but I wore my suit for it. I went in really well. He really liked me. He liked my personality, and he talked to me about my previous job, and they asked me, every single question they asked me was pertaining to the previous job, and that's the reason they gave me the construction observer 2 position and not the construction observer 1 position. The 1 position actually paid $20 an hour. It was not a lot of money, but because I had experience in my internship, just 3 months of experience, folks, he made me a construction observer 2. My starting salary was $25 an hour, and on my list I had said I'll make $50,000 an hour. If you do the calculation, $25 an hour actually comes up to just a little bit more than $50,000 a year. And that's what the power of written goals is, folks. But not only that, just power of written goals, but putting in action towards those goals. And that's what happened to me. Literally September 13, 2016, I started my first job in America, and you won't believe it. But during this time, the times were really tough, folks. I remember, like, my approach to applying for jobs was really different from the people I used to associate with or people in my network were. Like, I knew of friends, like, they would literally stay up all night and apply for jobs. And I had a friend of mine, he would sleep on the floor, he would sleep on his bed, he would tilt his laptop like sideways, and then he would click, like he wanted to sleep and apply for jobs. And I just never related to that. I would always apply to job between 9 to 5. I've never applied to jobs in the evenings, folks, because it's like, why would I, like, if I send in a resume, why would the person look at 8 p.m? I don't expect that person to be there. So every day in the morning, I remember one of my mentors told me, dress up as if you are going for a job. So I would dress up in a nice shirt, and I would go to my leasing office where they had a table and a desk. I would go there and apply for jobs every day. From 9 a.m. to almost like 3 p.m. I used to be there. I would come home for a quick lunch and go back there and keep applying for jobs. Because I was working from, I had only 1 class at that time. So I would just attend that class once a week, and that's all I had, folks. So it was one of the best times of my life. It was a tough time. It took a lot out of me. It took a lot of faith. It took a lot of patience for me to find that job. But I'll be honest with you, your first job in America is going to be, I would say, the hardest job for you to find, because you've never done this before. And understand one thing, folks, finding job in America is a skill. If you learn this skill on how to find a job, no matter what, somebody will fire you, somebody will scare you that you may lose this job, you will never be at mercy of someone else, because you know how to find a job. If you have stomach pain when you at night because your work is giving you a tough time, or there is a lot of pressure at work, you have a tough time sleeping at night, that, oh my God, they might fire me and I may not have a job, then that means you haven't figured out how to find a job in America or anywhere else in the world. Because if you have figured out how to find a new job in America, even if they fire you today, within 2 months, you will be able to find a new job. You'll sleep good tonight. You should be able to sleep good tonight. So I would say the best thing in America you need to do is figure out the ability to find a job. I remember in 2018, I was laid off from my job. I was fired, as a matter of fact. They didn't want to do my H-1B, and they said, you don't have any more work. So guess what? I was out of the job. Literally after that, folks, most people get scared. Most people get like this thing. I was so happy that day when I was leaving, because I eventually wanted to quit that job, but they did it to me. So I was really happy that night. It was a Thursday evening. Next day, I literally took a break. I didn't tell anyone. My dad didn't even found that I was laid off for next 2 months until I found a new job. He didn't even knew I had lost my job. It's not, your attitude is not tested in in the ups and life brooks. Your attitude is tested in the valleys. So that's what happened to me. Nobody in my friend circle knew I didn't have a job. I pretended every day, like my friends used to think, 9 to 5, where is Omkar? I can't even see Omkar. I would go and apply for jobs at 9 to 5. Nobody ever knew. Within 60 days, I found a new job, better pay, better people, and guess what? That company eventually led to the company I'm working today, and folks, it's the best company I've worked for so far. In America, these are the best people I've worked for. So if I had not fired from that job, I would still be working for them and I'd still be making only 60 grand a year. And you know what? That is a broke way to live in America. So what I want to say to you is, first job is the hardest to find, but after that, life just becomes easy. So figure out the skill of finding the job in America and it will take you places. But otherwise, I'm pretty much done, folks. I don't have much more to talk to you about, but I love talking to you and I just enjoy this process of making videos. I had a great time talking to you. If you have any comments, put it in the comment section. If you want to connect with me personally, you can connect with me on my Instagram at Omkar A. Jagdare, and I'll see you in the next video. Till then, have a good one. Bye.